Hi there, it's Miss Vincent here. This is just a quick recording for any parents of Year 4 children that are going to the Beaumanor Hall residential that were unable to make the meeting that we had on Wednesday this week. I thought I'd do a video just to include anything that was covered in the meeting so that you know we're all on the same page. But the only thing it won't include, obviously, is if you've got any questions. But if you do have any questions, please just come and grab me. The best time and place is just outside the mobiles at the end of the school day. So please come and ask me any questions that you've got. No questions too small. Just come and grab me and we'll get those answered. So at the start of the meeting, the parents were given a little pack that's got a medical consent form in it and also a kit list. Please don't worry if you weren't at the meeting because they'll also be coming out to you. The medical consent form is really important because without that we can't take the children to Beaumanor Hall, because it includes things like whether your children's got allergies or any medication that they take that we need to know of, because we have first aiders that come with us. So they'll be able to make sure that the children still have their medication, but we do need to know about that before we take them. So Beaumanor Hall, so it's a lovely building set on some really nice grounds. And what's nice is we do have a little bit of free time, not much because we've jam-packed it with some fun activities for the children. But in the free times, we'll take the balls and skipping ropes and things, and we'll get to make use of the lovely grounds. And then if you look at the hall just here where the dining room tables are, that's where the children get to eat their breakfast and dinner time meals. So they like eating in the nice grand hall. They really like that bit of it. So where do the children sleep? So the children will be in cabins, and in each cabin there is like a communal area in the middle. So that might be where the children eat their lunch if it's quite rainy. We usually like to take it and have it as a picnic outside though. But that might be where they eat, drink their hot chocolate at the end of the day when the teacher reads them a story, which always goes down quite well. And then off of the communal area are some cabins where the children will stay. So they're usually about 6 bunk beds, so about 12 children per cabin, but there might be less if we've got less children in that one. And then also, as you can see here, the red doors coming off of the communal area are also the teacher rooms. So they sleep separately, but they're near the children. So if they do need them in the middle of the night for any reason, they're there and they can knock on their doors as well. So they're there for them in the day, but also in the evening as well to keep them safe. We'll also take into account children's friendships and things, so we'll make sure they're with people that they're comfortable with in their rooms. And the girls and boys will sleep separately. So it might be that there's 2 cabins of boys and 1 cabin of girls, depending on numbers, but there will also be adults that stay in those cabins with them. So when they get there, they take part in like an orienteering activity, which is really nice in helping the children get to know the grounds. It's just a little map of the area there. Just because the whole trip is really based on getting the children to be that little bit more independent. So what we do is the adults will spread themselves out, but the children get to sort of explore the grounds on their own, which they really like. Working as a team as well to find some clues and find some of the treasure. And that just means that they're familiar with the grounds, they know what's where as well, so they can be that bit more independent. It's great as well because Beaumanor is so secure, so it's a gated area, so we can trust the children and let them just go off into the grounds and find the different clues. There's also gates that are padlocked, so it's really secure as well and safe for the children. So what activities will they do? So we're there for 3 days. We're there from Wednesday to Friday, and the children will take part in lots of different activities. But what will happen because of the group sizes is they might not always do them on the same day. So whatever one child does on one day, the other children will do on the other days as well. So everyone gets to take part in all the activities. So we get to do climbing. So we get to go on a climbing wall, see if they can touch the top as well and challenge themselves. They also get to take part in some archery. So we do some games with adding up their scores and working as a team, but also like can you pop the balloon and things like that, which they really enjoy. It's amazing what progress they make with the archery as well, how quickly they learn how to do it. Then we also go on the River Soar, so we go canoeing on the River Soar. And what's great about this as well, they get to walk down the weir and carry the canoes as a team. Again, lots of teamwork and team building. And they might get a little bit their wellies might get a little bit wet, so they might need some spare socks as well, which I have included on the kit list. So the adults will go canoeing with them, and the staff at Beaumanor take part. They kind of run the activities. So the adults from school are there as well, but they've got professional, experienced leaders that run these activities for them as well. So we often see lots of wildlife on the River Soar, which is really nice. And then they also take part in what we call survival. So they get to work as a team to build their own den and their own shelter. And then the adults really enjoy when we get to test to see if it's waterproof. So might get the watering can and just double check that it's not waterproof, and the children might get a little bit wet. Not too much, hopefully, if they've made sure it's nice and secure. And then at the end, we get to huddle around the campfire, and we have some hot chocolate as well, which is really nice. So part of Beaumanor is, what it's really nice in doing is just that extra bit of the curriculum that sometimes they don't get in the classroom. So it's really good for, like I mentioned quite a few times, teamwork, building their independence, problem solving and communication. It's also good for their technical skills and resilience, being able to figure out problems and bounce back. But yeah, really good for communication and working with other children as well. So it's teaching them very valuable life skills whilst they're there that sometimes we don't always get in the classroom. Also, onto the important stuff. So meal times. The meals are brilliant at Beaumanor. So as I said, they eat in the main hall. They get a cooked breakfast every morning. And what's great about Beaumanor, I often have parents a bit worried about whether their child might not have something for them. What's brilliant is they know children really well. So they know the kind of things children like. They offer lots of variety. So there's often lots of choices that the children can choose from. So they do have a cooked breakfast, but with, bacon, sausages, vegetarian sausages, eggs, beans and things like that. But then they also have cereal or toast if children wanted that. So they cater for lots of different needs. And then at lunch, they will have a sandwich, crisps, cake, fruit and juice, like a little packed lunch that we try and eat as a picnic outside if the weather's nice. And then in the evenings, they will have their evening meals. So there's lots of different options for evening meals, and they'll often have many different options on at once. So don't worry that they're going to go hungry, because there's not something that they don't like. We've never had a child that's gone hungry because there's so many different options for them. And then they also have pudding as well, so they'll have ice cream, they might have chocolate cake and things like that. What we do need to know is, on the medical consent form, there is an opportunity for you to say if your child's allergic to anything. If you can just make sure that we know that, then what we do is we send that to Beaumanor and they'll make sure that anything's catered for. So if there's any allergies, they'll make sure that that is catered for in all of their meals, so that they're ready for them. So the kit list, I won't read it out to you because that is coming out in the pack. Just a few things that you might not have thought of when packing is just to make sure that they bring plenty of plastic bags, so black bags for wet or dirty clothes, just so that if they're canoeing on the first day, they can put those clothes in a bag and it doesn't make the other clothes in their bag wet. Also their bedding, so they can either bring, it's up to them whether they bring a sleeping bag or they want to bring a duvet with a cover. They do need a pillow and pillowcase as well. Please just make sure that bedding is in a plastic bag if possible. This is just to encourage their independence. When we get there off the coach, the children will be carrying all their things, the adults will be carrying their things as well to the bunks, so just in case it's raining or anything, so it's not wet before they end up sleeping in it. Or it might be that they put it in their holder, so in their case or whatever, just to keep it nice and dry. Then another thing is try not to go out and buy new things. So the older the better is what we say. So if they've got old jumpers, an old waterproof coat, that's brilliant. Just because they're getting involved in lots of, exciting, but sometimes they might get a bit mucky, so we don't want to be having all new clothes that they're bringing with them. So please don't go out and buy them special new clothes for it, because the older the better, so that's fine. And And then another really nice thing to do before you go, if you could, when you pack the bag, if you could pack it with your child, that just means when they get to Beaumanor, they know where everything is. And sometimes they might say, oh, I've not got any toothpaste, but it's just because they've not packed it. They don't actually know where the toothpaste has gone. And then it also helps them on Friday. They'll be packing their own bags. So they'll be working as teams together, helping their friends. But if they've already packed it with their parents, they have that experience of packing it and know how to pack their bag as well. Just a few items that we don't allow, just for some really good reasons. So mobile phones, we don't allow mobile phones to come with us, just because, for the number one reason really, is that they're just having too much fun. So there's not really time for them to use them. But also we found, well, we've never taken them, but we've heard from previous visits that phoning home and text messages home sometimes actually cause homesickness, and then that can be prevented if they've not got a way of contacting you, and it also gives you a little bit of a break as well. We will keep you updated on the Facebook as to when they arrive, and we'll put some pictures on so that you know that they're nice and safe. But the main thing with Facebook is if you don't hear anything, no news is good news. So if there's no messages, then that means that we're likely having too much fun and we're just getting stuck into our activities. Same for electronic tablets such as iPads. We don't want them to get broken, but also there won't be any time to use them just because we've got so many activities to get involved with. They won't have a minute spare almost. And then hair dryers, just because we've not got enough plug sockets, and also they've not really got time to dry their hair again because of all our activities that we've planned. And then nuts or nut products, just in case we have any children with allergies. Please don't pack any nut products. If you could also label all the clothes with a permanent marker in their items, just so that sometimes we do have things left behind, which is understandable, but then we can get that returned to you nice and quickly and easily. And again, no, please don't get any new items, older the better. And then in the evenings, they'll take part in some evening activities. So they had to do a murder mystery where they get to dress up and solve a fake crime. And then we take them into the cellars one night, and we do hide and seek. So we'll have our torches out, they go and hide, and then the seekers go and find them. And the teachers are always there teachers that have been there before are always there to give them the best hiding places, but also to help those children if they're a little bit nervous about the dark. We'll take them off and we'll hide with them. But then they soon realise that actually they don't need the adults with them. And then, like I said before, it's a really safe place, Beaumanor. That's the great thing about it, is that we can let the children go off and do their orienteering and things without worrying that it's not secure. So it's a gated area, there's locks and things, so the children are very safe whilst they're there. Just a few final messages is, please make sure you've completed the consent form, because without that, unfortunately, we can't take your child. So just making sure you've got that completed and we know about anything that we need to. On the day, children will come they won't come to the school hall, and they will come to the school mobiles. I'll change that, at 8:40. And at 9 a.m. we do ask all the parents, so they can stay with them 20 minutes. Then we do ask all the parents just to leave the children whilst we do the register and talk to the children, just because it can get a bit noisy in the mobiles if everyone's in there. So if the parents can then leave, we can talk to the children, do the register, check we've got everyone. But the parents are more than welcome to just hang about and wave the children off at 9:30 on the coach. And then arriving back, the coach should arrive back at about 2:50 p.m. If you could collect the children from the Key Stage 2 playground just outside the mobiles, and when they're coming off the coach, if you can just make sure you let them come off the coach, go onto the school playground, and then let the teacher just dismiss them, just so that we know who's gone with who, and we can make sure that we're all safe right at the end of our trip. That would be brilliant. So we look forward, the adults I know are really looking forward to the trip, as well as the children. So we look forward to enjoying those 3 days and getting stuck in lots of activities. But again, like I said, if you've got any questions, please come and see me outside the mobiles at the end of the day, and I'll be happy to answer those. Thank you.